Welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club with 4 race starts. We're going to start with our category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our category 1 riders. In green, our category 2. In blue, category 3. And category 4 in red. They were going to have a go. We said they're not afraid to have a go, and that is certainly the case. Olivier Simmons already ripping it up 6 watts per kilo at the moment. This is a big move in category 2.
Bjorn Andreasen, defending world champion from Denmark on the cycling esports, well and truly making his presence felt in this category 1 race already. This is about attrition. How many riders can we lose off the bat? What type of pace can we put on the front? The bigger, shorter, sharper, more power needed climbs are coming. But what damage can we do to a group of 49 starters before we get to those shorter, sharper climbs? Downey is still out front, but the chase group really want to utilise the opportunity to catch here. They've got 14 kilometres to do it. There's around 20 riders in this group, and they really need to get their act together and keep the pace high. It's SS and Pablo Popovic. They are just 1 second ahead of Lewis Ridley, Arago and Ramirez. That's not going to stick, but an interesting attack.
On this very route, on these climbs, it's something he historically has enjoyed this section, and there is something about going back to somewhere where you've been good before. It's those positive feelings, isn't it? And Osborne's going to be getting that. 12 seconds, the gap at the moment.
The leading group in category 3 about to make the back of the group in category 4. These indeed are the chasers, and there are 3 riders here.
This is the banner in front, and it's Cridland who kicks first. Cridland has got the power, 15.5 watts per kilo as he kicks into this. Cridland gets the timing right. He's got the power. He takes the win.
Mesdames, Messieurs, bonjour, ravi de vous retrouver sur MyWhoosh pour ce Sunday Race Club catégorie au départ, la catégorie 4 en rouge, les bleus de la catégorie 3, la catégorie 2 en vert et bien sûr la catégorie 1 en jaune avec les rouges qui vont ouvrir le bal. Mark Tatson au kilomètre 2. Alors, quel est l'objectif de cette accélération ? Créer déjà un mouvement de course. Ça me paraît assez tôt. Ça a attaqué avec le Belge Olivier Simmons. Avec Andrew Downey, eh bien là, c'est une attaque qui se veut quand même assez tranchante. À la sortie du musée Ferrari, regardez-moi cela. Au niveau des nations, ce sera la mieux représentée là-bas. On peut quand même les féliciter. Une très belle délégation belge à Abu Dhabi. Et Andrew Downey, le revoici. C'est bien d'aller prendre de ses nouvelles. Qui va finalement bientôt être en point de mire du peloton. Historic 100 qui rattrape Andrew Downey. C'est terminé pour l'Australien. Le reste du peloton est juste derrière. Historic 100 qui aimerait évidemment, qu'Andrew Downey tourne avec lui. Jonathan Cridland et Horsley, Jonathan Cridland qui produit son effort à du 12 watts par kilo, c'est très puissant et il va aller chercher la victoire. Jonathan.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم مشاهدينا الكرام متابعينا في كل مكان، أهلا وسهلا بكم مع الانطلاقات ال4 والفئات ال4. الفئة باللون الأحمر، الفئة الرابعة والفئة الثالثة بالأزرق، والفئة الثانية باللون الأخضر، والأولى باللون الأصفر. تركي محمد مختاري، عودة محمد مختاري للمنافسة. حقيقة مبسوط أني أشاهد الآن هذه الأسماء وعودتها في المنافسة مع تطبيق مايوش. هذا أبو عامر يخرج الآن من الكوكبة، وهي مبادرة جيدة منك يا أبو عامر. هذا أبو عامر الآن من الإمارات يظهر في هذه الفئة الرابعة. الآن أشعر بأنه بدأ بالعودة، هذه العودة الحقيقية، هذا هو المستوى. طالما الآن يضغط في 400 واط، هذا هو اس.
وهنا أوليفر سايمونز يضغط من الفئة الثانية، محاولة بالتاك وعملية بريكاوي من أوليفر سايمونز. خلفه مباشرة يأتي أندرو.
ستيفان بالست واحد من الدراجين الذين حققوا الفوز أيضا، وكان من المفاجأة أن تشاهد هذا البطل يفوز على جيسون أوسبورن وأولي جونز. شوف عمل أتاك، هذا عامل أتاك هجوم. برافو هو يعرف، لذلك أعرف أنه راح يتحرك. شوف ما شاء الله تبارك الرحمن، أداء ممتاز لمستر إكس 100 حاول أن يتحرك، لم يدعني حتى أكمل حديثي عن إمكانياته وقدراته في هذا المرتفع. يلا يا أبو عامر، يا الآن تستطيع أن تخرج كل ما لديك من قوة يا أبو عامر. 7.7. يلا يا أبو عامر، وهذا جوناثان الآن يتقدم. أبو عامر بالمركز الرابع، والمحاولة الآن الدخول. جوناثان المركز الأول.
So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club qualifier race number 2 in October. We have just had an absolutely barnstorming women's race. It was an absolutely frantic race that accumulated and really came to its conclusion in the last 2 climbs, the Hawk Hills and the Spring Road. Really key, the course and how the racing was raced. My name's Mark Payne. I'm bringing you the race action, putting words to the action with Emma Martin. Emma, women's race was stunning. The men's race is likely to be just as amazing.
Yes, it was superb, that women's race. Do jump on and take a look. The men's race, well, we are lining up for a cracker in California today. The Hollywood Hills are calling 45 kilometers of racing, 774 meters of climbing. And well, we head to the Hollywood Hills to start with, because at 5.5 kilometers into the race today, the Hollywood climb comes 3.1 kilometers with an average gradient of 6%. It's categorized as a category 3 climb. That is going to split the pack early. We roll through Toon City, we roll through Alcatraz, we head to Mount Umunum, 1.6 kilometers, 4%. It's small in comparison. We then roll down through San Francisco, up the Hawk Hills, short, sharp, steep, 1 kilometer, 5% average gradient. Then we have a technical transition to the Spring Road climb, 6.8 kilometers, average gradient of 4%. There's some steep little kickers on this, but it's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. Kaminsky took the win in June. Jones took the win in July. Who's going to take the win in category 1 today? Well, I reckon if you hang on for about an hour and 20 minutes, you'll find out.
Well, I'm sure you will be. And as I said earlier, the Hawk Hills and the Spring Road, the last 2 climbs are the same last 2 climbs here, but we have a different parkour beforehand. None of it easy, but all going to be faced by our 4 categories of riders. So our category 1 is the top of the tree. They are the elite riders. Category 4 is our standard category, scattered in between categories 2 and 3. Each category separated at the start, 5 minutes between category 4 and 3, 10 minutes between 3 and 2, a further 5 minutes between 2 and 1. As you can see, nearly 20 minutes to go for the start of category 1. We're just over a minute to the start of category 4. All of our riders can draft each other if they are in vicinity of each other. They can take advantage of those groups coming through, and that's all part of the skill and racing on the Sunday Race Club. Let's kick off with our category 4 riders. Let's run you through our riders and our teams. BMC Racing, Navarro, Kriwanos, Gonzalez. We've got the Level Avengers, Zimiel, Brito, and Francis. The Level Up squad, the legend that is Jeff Rooney. Mighty Ducks, Johnson Kutab, Petter Otruba. We've got the Spinergy team, Somervilla, Mokhtari, Jokobonus, the Anzacs, McMurtry, Winfield, Cridland, and Dadson, and the Upcycle squads, Nasker, Dromard, Lloyd, and Mayard. That is not even half of our race field, though. It is absolutely stacked and packed with some real big names in there. We'll run through the individual riders in a moment. Category 4, known for the fast start. Quick prediction, Emma, yes or no? Are they going to go from the gun?
Definitely.
That was definitely not a yes or a no, but it was a definitely. Let's definitely go racing here on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club in qualifier race number 2. With Mohammed Mokhtari kicking off from the start. Big pack of riders today, Emma.
51 riders on the start sheets in Category 4 today. 191 riders on the start sheets overall, which gives you a rough idea of where the balance lies. And it's a really strong Category 4 race field. Newman is here. Driscoll is here. Cadabona, Abello, Rusnek, Nogueira, Schoborg, Mercier, Kennett is here. Dadson, Carrillo, Buama took a 4th last week. Bogren took a 5th. Agadello is here as well. So take a look at that. We've got a rider pushing on the front. I told you it was going to be a fast start.
There we go. So at the moment, Christoph Laszlo, the rider who has opened up the throttle, and he's continued to kick his way down from the start. The rest of the group content to sit in that pack, knowing that they are going to no doubt sweep him up pretty shortly. Fiedler, Winfield, Driscoll, Kennett, Rooney, etc. in that group. Emma.
Yes.
Take us through some of our key performers over the last few races.
Well, can I just say, last week's winner, Cridland, been putting in some fabulous performances. And Zimmer took 2nd place last week. Horsley took 3rd. Amma took 4th. 1.2 seconds separated that group of riders. It was phenomenal racing in Alula in Category 4. And if we take a look, Bogren also took 2nd place in the September final. Sketting was in there. Navarro and Rusinek was in there in the September final. Horsley took the win that day. So it really is a who's who and a really, really strong. Now, I'm just going to go back to something you said at the top of the show. Barnstorming.
Yes.
So barnstorming, for people who may not know what barnstorming means,
it's brilliantness.
The verb barnstorming, to travel through the country making brief stops to entertain, came originally with shows and circuses or flying stunt activity. But if you watch the women's race, travelling through the race parkour, making brief stops to entertain. That's exactly what the women did today. Now, will the men have a barnstorming race as well? Or will it be a little faster all the way?
They also would fly through barns.
They would.
They would. So it was a travelling air circus that flew at speed around the country, keeping people. It's one of my sad things. I'm sure Jeff Rooney can feel the barnstorming coming through today. He's a rider who's a true entertainer, as well as being a legendary rider. And you can see that I'm loving the neon skull in the background and the darkness. I mean, we are coming in to what's traditionally the Halloween period. I mean, that's going to be coming up. It's an old pagan festival. It's a great time, though, to have a lot of fun with the family, which is what I like about it.
It is indeed. But also, let's just remember that our riders are racing all around the globe in all different time zones. So whilst in Europe at the moment, it is morning coming towards lunchtime. In Australia and New Zealand, it is well into the evening. In the USA, it is early in the morning. Marcus Brito there, Guevara as well from the USA. I can guarantee you it's probably around 5 a.m. where they are.
Unless they're on holiday somewhere.
Well,
I mean, some people do get holidays, let's face it. Some people go away for a month at a time.
Well, they do indeed. And at the moment, the rider going away is Christoph Lamno. Because take a look at this. 16-second gap he's got at the moment, and the field are not chasing. And the reason the field are not chasing, well, that's the course in front of them and the amount of climbing today, kicking off at 5.5 kilometres.
So Category 4 on the road. Category 3 will be chasing. We will see just how our teams go on. Our teams, the Aotearoa Alliance, Henry Issa and Peter Connell. They are both New Zealanders. They're going to be chasing the pack. So our level racing, Ben Kirk, and the living legend that is Luke Allport. Completely resplendent in Australian kit today, apparently. So there's a heads up. Just be warned if you see somebody in the Australian national kit. Very proud representative at the semi-finals. Level Up Racing, represented by Ola Warren. We have got Take That. The band is back together again. And
Could
this
it be
is not
magic?
The first time I'm going to say this or the last today, because Lewis Ridley, Nicholas Spratt, and Nicole Kansara are in there. They are but a fraction, a mere soupçon of the riders that are going to be taking this on. You can see the huge pack up and away going out of the pens. Category 3 up and racing on qualifier race number 2.
Well, Svart coming out of the start pen with Kochkov, with Van Vellegem and Lawrence in there as well. Will everything change today? Tidholm put in a storming performance last week, finishing second to Lewis Ridley. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do on the course. But can they take that, guys? Ridley, Spratt and Kansara. Will this be their greatest day? Will they rule the world? Are they back for good? Any more Take That songs that you can just throw in there?
No. Did you cry when Take That broke up?
No. Who would cry when Take That broke up? Robbie had already left.
Oh, there you go. Right. Okay, enough of the boy band and the fangirl over in the other side of the studio. They weren't my cup of tea, I have to say. Robbie Williams, born entertainer, though, just like our riders. Now, Nick Scolari, one man who is not averse to going solo and breaking away from the band and heading off down the road. He's certainly somebody who will animate the racing. We'll see if he's going to entertain us as he heads out. Will it be rainy days or sunny Sundays? We will see. There you go. Bit of solo work by Robbie there. Sorry, by Mr. Scolari. Let's not dwell on balance. Now, let's go in with Luke Allport. Luke is one of our regulars on here. Do give him a follow on social media.
I just
very
say,
entertaining man.
He is indeed a very entertaining man, but also very committed to his riding and his racing, and has progressed from Category 4 to Category 3. There he is on the screen. Never lost in California.
Unbeaten. Undefeated in the golden, green and white corner. It is Luke Allport.
Well, Allport in the mix in Category 3. What can he do today? He is in that Aussie national kit because he did indeed race the MyWhoosh World Championship semi-finals. He qualified for that through the Open qualifiers. Phenomenal racing and training and commitment and dedication from Luke Allport. And of course, you know what? We have indeed named a verb after him on the Sunday Race Club. To Allport. I Allport, you Allport, he Allports, she Allports. Allporting, riding off the front really, really fast.
I did try and get it into the commentary. With, for those of you who don't know, Emma and I both work, we are both professional commentators. This is what we do for a living, would you believe? It's an amazing, amazing thing to do. We are very privileged and honoured to do that. A lot of work goes in behind the scenes. And we do that for the UCI. And I did try to squeeze it in when I described the attack by a certain Matthew van der Poel in the World Gravel Championships.
Hold on a minute. Jeff Rooney from the Sunday Race Club Cat 4 did message during the gravel to say Matthew Allport is Matthew Allport. Matthew van der Poel is Allporting.
Indeed. And I tried to get it into the commentary and I couldn't quite squeeze it in. So the verb Allporting will have to wait a little bit later. I did use it actually on the mountain bike commentary at the World Championship. So it is going to become standard
cycling terminology.
Parlance.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, parlance. For doing an Allport. So at the moment, you can just see Christophe Lasno on to the first of our climbs here, 5.6k. He is clear by 21 seconds of this big pack who are biding their time.
Yes, they are biding their time. And they're biding their time because they know the volume of climbing on this course and just how hard it would be to stay out front. Well, Rusinek, Winfield, Newman, Gomez, Dadson and Navarro all at the front of this chasing pack. They are now heading up the Hollywood climb. The Hollywood Hills in the distance on this climb, 3.1 kilometers of it. It is a steady climb, this one. If you look at the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see the gradient absolutely beautifully. Jacques Rusinek is on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. The look of concentration on his face as he pulls to the front of the race and ensures that he's in the right place, not to be dropped on the first climb of the day.
I can't imagine he will. He is a absolutely consummate rider.
Rather bring him.
You know, he knows how to pace this. He's ridden this so smartly, and the Canadian, I think, really. I mean, he's kind of found his home here in Category 4. He's competitive. He's racing. I'm hoping he's having fun. Certainly seems to be enjoying it each and every time we go into him on camera, and a really good rider. And great to see him. I mean, I think if I remember rightly, he was top 5 in the in the finals in September.
He was indeed. He was finished 5th in the finals in Zurich in September, which was great to see. He has indeed had a number of top 5 performances. So it is always good to see Jacques Russenek up thereabouts. Now, of the 51 riders that started in this category today on the start sheets, I think we've got about 18 of them in this leading group now. Take a look on the bottom left of your screen and you can see the early climbing has really stretched the group, and this very front pack around 18, 19 riders now.
So the climb continues here for Category 4. Currently travelled 6.2k. The climb goes from 5.5 kilometres along the course and tops out at 8.6 kilometres along the course. It's 3.1k long, so it's a relatively long climb, 188 metres of ascent. You can see by the gradient as we climb up towards the legendary Hollywood sign, it is not for the faint-hearted. This is going to make our riders work.
Well, it is indeed making the riders work, and the stretch on the group, we've seen 1 or 2 riders just transition from the tail behind onto the back of the group. The group now just over 20, but now really starting to put some daylight in. Well, Zanaska is there, Cridland Navarro, Amma, Cadabona, Dadson, Jeff Rooney on the right side of this. Adriana Zanaska is there as well. Oswaldo Guevara is here in the mix as well. Great to see some new riders joining. We said that in the women's race earlier on today, and great to see it in the men's as well.
It is, and sorry, I was a little lost in the world of California there, just going up this climb. This is a climb with these twists and turns. I was listening to a podcast. What a surprise! And it was an American-based podcast with a couple of ex-American pros on there talking about actually riding this road. And that they'd met up and ridden down that road. And it was really interesting. The way they described it is exactly what you sort of see on the screen. And it took me back to that sort of that description. Great to see that replication of real places in on the world here in MyWhoosh. Now, Nicholas Spratt on the move, on the attack, going solo. Guess what he's doing? This is a great example. This is to do an all-port.
Well, he is indeed, and Nicholas Spratt pushing on here. Carsten Mayer is the rider on the front of the chase group, and Mayer really starting to watch it because Spratt's got a 6-second gap. This is interesting because Nicholas Spratt's given himself a gap running into the base of the Hollywood climb. Not a man I would let go.
Okay, I was sorry, a little pause there. I was just looking at him. Not a man to let go. No, I don't think I would let him go down the road. No, definitely not. Well, I think that's very dangerous. Now, could see Igo Bristolin in here. Igo going for the casual T-shirt look here today. It's something I like to do when I'm sat on the turbo trainer. Casual T-shirt. Just makes me feel a little bit more relaxed initially. Doesn't last very long, though. The moment I get up onto the climbs that you can see already, onto the climb very, very shortly will be the Category 3. In fact, there we go, underneath the banner and heading on to the climb. And at the moment, Spratt up the road, 6 seconds and counting. Allport, Gerardo, Mayer, Bristolin, Hagland, all to the fore. The Category 3 riders in and on to the climb. To give you an idea of this type of climb, this climb's the fastest time in Category 4, 8 minutes 43, set by SS earlier on this year. The fastest time in Category 3, 8 minutes and 6 seconds. So it's a long way to be going flat out for. In fact, I would imagine it's going to be almost impossible, but getting a gap is key. Now, Category 2. This is a category I've been looking forward to, and this made me smile this morning because we have Level NSA Racing with Andrew Rushmer and Eric Rimborg. We have got the MyWhoosh Werewolves, Cam Winfield, Christoph Thiem, Simon Walter. We've got Restart powered by Alex Cohen with Andrew Downey. We have the WhatsApp team, Adam Stasinski and Walter Clays, and reformed back together, the super group that I started commentating on, the UAE Clam team, Mr. X100, Pablo Popovic, and SS. For reasons I cannot tell you, this makes me very, very happy that the three of them are all back together again and racing. Let's see if the UAE Clan team can hand it out. Now they're back together again. Can they make this a hit race in California. Will they be top of the charts? Time to find out.
Well, are the UAE clan team back for good? That's what I want to know. Well, Betty is
Can you
out.
squeeze it anymore? Take that.
Oh, you just wait and see.
Oh,
well, the riders in this group, 51 riders on the start sheets in Category 2. And it's great to see Category 2, Category 3 and Category 4 all over 50 riders on the start sheets today. And it's Mohammed Al-Kais who's leading the pack out at the moment. Kalman is in there. X100, Rushma is there as well. These riders absolutely moving strongly. John Brune is there too. I'm really interested to see a lot of Polish riders in this category. Fabulous to see. While Thiem, Heaney, Montoya, Kalman, Popovic, Bird, McCarroll, Brune, all these riders in the group. And I'll tell you something, there's a push already on the front. These riders not wanting a steady start today as they come past the marina. And Trojanowski is the rider chasing, and it's Mohammed Al-Kais he's chasing. We've seen Al-Kais through the GCC championships going out really strong and really hard early on, and often almost holding out until the end of the stage.
And I'm liking this move. Flat start, goes on the move. Who goes with him? Trojanowski. Fantastic master, one of our real aggressive, fast, hard riders. Great rider on courses like Belgium, on the Heritage Trails, on the Al-Tarib. Interesting to see. Now, just taking a little bit of a look behind, Marvin Angarita Reyes on the move as well. Absolute class rider, somebody who's racing at the Para World Championships, where I was on the mic in Zurich for. So clearly got his legs back into gear. Marvin is here. He's on our screens already, and you can see back up and racing. Dropped into the MyWhoosh stand.
He did indeed. And, well, you know, if you are in Zurich and MyWhoosh is there as well, why would you not? So great to see Marvin Angarita Reyes here racing on his own as opposed to piloting that tandem in Zurich. But phenomenal week of racing for him and his teammate on that tandem in the men's B category. Well, Josil, Betty on our screen putting in an attack, and the attack is to chase Trojanowski and Al-Kais down the road. These riders are going to be moving thick and fast now because that's two riders you don't want to let go, and Betty wants to join the party.
And Winfield, Popovic, etc. behind, looking to close this gap down again. Al-Kais leads through past the roller coasters, goes flying past our cameras here, sprints his way out that corner. Trojanowski chasing Betty. Winfield, Brody's up there. It's panic stations behind. Nobody wants to let this gap go, and it is split the group. It has absolutely caused carnage out here. Consternation reigns in the bunch behind. Al-Kais is the instigator. Trojanowski has got a company. Winfield and Betty are with him. Brune of the United States of America, Espina of Colombia, and Angarita Reyes, as well as Miss X100, all very aware of this, but they know what's coming up, and this big bunch have not got to panic, but they cannot let the gap go too far. It's a fine line to tread. Chase enough, but not too much.
Well, that is indeed it, because the last thing you want is for your legs to blow on the Spring Road climb in the last 5 kilometres of this race. 45 kilometres of racing today. They're only 2.6 kilometres in, and I say only 2.6, it's now 2.7, but the action on the front of this Category 2 race field has been hot already.
Hot? It's hotter than Death Valley in the Nevada desert.
Is it?
It is. Well, it's that hot already. Let's see if Category 1 can match the temperature, match the heat that's being put down by our preceding categories. Now, Category 1, the Alpha Jaw squad, Daniel Churek, David Talbot, Lionel Vajasin, Mikhail Kaminsky, and Ollie Jones up against Hard to Guard. Just 3 Hard to Guard this week. Jason Osborne, Michael Nussen, Stefan Van Els. What a threesome.
I know.
We've got the Wenger boys back again to party. Arnie Jacobs, Ricardo Panizza, Seb De Witt, and Vidar Mer. That makes up what is exactly a third of our entries on the race start. That's as good as my maths gets. We will go through the rest of the riders here today. There's certainly plenty to look out for, including Yusuf Mirza Al Hamadi, Rakad Al Thib, Reno in the mix. Who's it going to be at the end? Who will finish off today's 45 kilometers and 774 meters of ascent? We will see. It's time for our riders to make sure they are not distanced and lose this race in the first few kilometers.
Well, that is what they need to keep their eyes on. And they really do need to keep their eyes on, because the stretch out of the group at the pen already is hard. Bengsters, Norin, Jacobs, Plantero are all in the mix here. Really interesting to see these riders pushing on. Branland in here. The Kane brothers moving up from Category 2. Both great sprinters.
Excellent.
Absolutely brilliant sprinters and really pushing on. Bjorn Andreasen, the defending world champion from 2023, will be defending that championship title in October, later this month.
And he's from Denmark, isn't he?
Yes.
Which is, if I'm correct in thinking, there is a virtual velo podcast out soon. In fact, with the head of the Danish, is it the head of the Danish Federation or the head of the esports of the Danish Federation? Tell me.
It's the esports director for the Danish Cycling Union. You are correct. And it should be out later today.
Oh, okay. I can't wait. I might have to have a listen. Another podcast for me to listen to. Do tune in. Chris Schwenker and Emma Martin.
And can I just tell you?
Are the hosts of the Virtual Velo podcast covering all things esports. Going to be, you're going to be at the...
Many podcasts are available.
Yes, they are indeed. And there is the MyWhoosh podcast, of course, which is the Inside the Ride. You can catch up with that on the YouTube channel for MyWhoosh. So do jump on board there. You can also get it wherever, if you listen to the Virtual Velo podcast, the Emma does, the Crosscast that I do. You get it on Spotify and all the other ones, but you can watch the some of them, like the Inside the Ride on the MyWhoosh channel. So you can jump on board on YouTube, subscribe, and watch not only the podcast, but the great action we've got now.
I'm sorry, but there is some superb action on this race at the moment, and there really is a massive push coming on. And the rider on the front is the young rider from Australia, Lyndon Millerstick, at the moment, under 19 regional mountain bike champ this week.
Get in.
Top spot outdoors on the mountain bike. He is a talent for the future. He did indeed qualify for the Australian World Championship squad for the Esports World Champs, but was too young to participate.
Lyndon, at some point, you and me, we're going to go down to the mountain bike park. When I've got a bike that works long enough to get me down a run, I will. I love to see the youngsters coming out and racing. I love to see people who have got the race fever. That's the only way I can describe it.
Well,
we see Yanni Jakob. So here we see Lyndon, Hayden Pucker, Van Els, Ollie. They are riders. Nobody here is afraid to commit. Look at Jason Osborne last week. He didn't show his cars, but when he played them, he absolutely blew the house. He took the house to the cleaners. He really did. He was just so strong. Really good to see.
Well, it's Jakob Björklund on the front at the moment from Sweden. Hayden Pucker, Ollie Jones, Lyndon Millerstick, Jason Osborne, Daniel Turek, Lionel Yassin. The group coming back together in Category 1. Category 2, they're on the climb. Alcase is still 16 seconds clear. And Betty and Winfield have joined him.
I'm going to be really interested to see how Mohamed Alcase goes on this race route. I was just having a little bit of a look back through the history of Category 2 climbs on this particular climb, on the Hollywood climb. And on the Hollywood climb, in Category 2, the fastest time actually set by Maciej Mendakowicz, which was 7 minutes 20.
Wow.
Behind them, there's a huge glut of riders. 7:24, Simmons and Van Heet. 7:25, Bjarhead, Heaney, Bert Cairn, Carradine in the race field today. He's on our screens at the moment. He's inside the top 10 times, 7:25.635 for him on here. So we'll see whether or not he goes faster. It's a really strange climb, though, because it is so early. It does a lot of damage. And Carradine is a rider who I think does his preparation really well. Because when there is an early climb like this, you can see, if you look at the left-hand side of your screen, there are green dots all the way down that road section. The bunch has been blasted apart here, and yet Sad is always up in contention early on. He does his race prep well. His pre-race fueling, his warm-up, he always seems to get that right.
Well, whilst Category 2 are climbing, Category 4 and Category 3 are descending on the other side of the road. I always love that when you can see the riders coming down the other way. Cam Winfield and Betty, the two riders now clear. Al Case coming back to the group. So Winfield and Betty, the pack when they catch Mohammed Al Case, need to be careful here, and they need not to forget that Betty and Winfield are up the road. They are also out of sight.
But they're not off the screens, and our riders are not stupid.
Well, no, but it's very easy to think you've got everybody.
No, it's not. Right-hand side of the screen, you can see the riders that are there. The riders have the same screen as us. They can see the time gaps. You can see who's... Okay, if you're not at the very front of the pack, you might not be able to see that and forget and not know who's up at the front. But if you are the chasing rider, there are two riders up the road. You're going to see them. It's not like there's anyone else in between.
Let's just put it this way. Cam Winfield has just come back from a summer racing in Italy. You know,
yes.
He's come back, he's taken a break, he's taken a rest, he's now come back full bore onto the Sunday Race Club. And he is really letting everybody know about it today. This is the pack in Category 2, the chasing pack, because Betty and Winfield are up front. This is the first climb on the course. This is the Hollywood climb. They are motoring up this climb at the moment. They are just shy of 30 kilometers an hour.
And it's so ferocious. We are seeing some big names being dropped. Marcin Trajanoski dropped from the group, 14 seconds down. Mohammed El Case hanging on the back of that pack after being on the front. Now Betty disappearing off the back. Eric Rimborg, Golden Boy himself, is more tarnished bronze than he is gold at the moment. Come on, Eric. We know you've got it in you. Get yourself up there, mate.
Well, the riders absolutely struggling in this Category 2 race because of the pace off the front. And boy, did they launch the pace off the front early.
Do you think they all took your treat every top of every climb as a finish line?
Absolutely.
A little bit too literally and thought, this is it.
Because this is true on this course. This is the finish line, because if you are not with the group at the top of the Hollywood climb, you are not in the race. Well, this pack are motoring, and it's going to be a big group of Category 2 riders over the top. But this is not the head of the race. Adam Starzinski is in the mix, and you can see the level of concentration on his face as he's in that group and pushing on. He's with Patterson, he's with Buster, he's with X100. He's out the back of the group. Phil Graves is out the back of that group as well, because they are pushing on just shy of 6 watts per kilo, 5.5 watts per kilo as the gradient starts to drop. But everybody hanging on for dear life, because they do not want to be the ones dropped from the back of the group.
They don't, and it's such a long climb. It is a tricky one to get the pacing right. Let's see if Category 1 could get the pacing right. Vidal Mayer, he said time to make sure I'm in the right place at the right time. He is currently just seeing the force of the pack coming up on him. Oh my goodness.
Knudsen sprinting into the climb at 10 watts per kilo.
I don't know what these guys have for race preparation today. I was going to say breakfast, but I know we're around the world. Whatever everybody was having for their pre-race fueling,
do you know what he got
I want some.
He's got one of those little lists on his bike that say 5.5 kilometres Hollywood climb. He got to 5.5 and he went, go!
Yeah, it's just brilliant. Brilliant. I love Sunday Race Club.
Well, Ricardo Panizza must love the Sunday Race Club as well, because he's right in the mix here as well, trying to hang on to the coattails, because he's hanging on to the coattails of the defending world champion at the moment, because Bjorn Andreasen is the rider whose wheel he's on. Johan Noren is there, freshly back from the gravel world champs. Arnie Jakob is in the mix. Daniel Turek is there, but this is the chase group, because take a look at that. There's a group with Plantero, Kaminsky, Knudsen, Van Elst, Vujasin and Osborne. There's a gap of 2 seconds and they need to close it down. It's the defending world champion who's doing it.
I'm almost speechless by the amount of pain and hurt that is being put down by the riders at the front of this race. This is not the last climb of the day. This is climb number 1 of 4 categorized climbs. And don't forget, we've got that rise that we saw in the women's race between Toon City and the Alcatraz Sprint that is going to test these riders. What are they doing?
Do you know what they did? They got up, they got on their bikes, they got in the pen and went, let's get this done.
That sound, for everybody listening and not viewing Emma like I can, I'm loving it. So this sound was Emma, I don't even know how to describe it, dusting down her hands, dusting off the opposition and going, right, I'm going to take it on, he says with a flourish of hands that you equally can't see. There you go.
Well,
That's both of us at it. Now, look, what it's infectious. Right, let's get back into the racing. Never mind describing what's going on in the studios. Category 2. It is on. It is nailed. It is at the top of the climb. We have got to go around this little section here. You can just see we basically go around this in a clockwise direction. You can see a few riders on your screen. What you can't see is the big bunch on its way. They're going to try and close down. We have got riders distance all the way down the hillside in Category 2. But the main big bunch that is going to form, I think, on the way down is the selection point. I don't think the riders behind will get on. It is a relatively long run across the top of the Hollywood climb here. You're up at the top before we start descending downwards. It's going to be really, really key. Pablo Popovic looks like he's just made the cut here. He's in with the man with the best, one of the best names ever. And this is going to sound terrible, but I love the name Mads Buster.
Some names are just
it's
great.
Just like there was a artist called Buster Blood Vessel. He was a big guy, and he was like, he gave it everything on stage, called Buster Blood Vessel. And Max Buster, for some reason, reminds me of him. Either that or a 1970s wrestler.
Well, Ivan Nuki is on our screen at the moment. He's right at the head of this Category 2 pack with Heaney, Theme and SS. He is indeed a class rider. 25 riders in this leading Category 2 group.
Do you think the two people sat on the bench in the sunshine are aware that inside is an absolute class athlete at the very forefront of his race category, whilst they're just enjoying a chat in the sunshine? What a contrast.
You never know who's over your shoulder.
You don't. It's a green screen.
Well,
and a
in
dog.
Category 2 at the moment, Vanhee, Winfield, Ospina, Theme, Nuki, Millerstick, Carradine, Graves, Krasnich, Popovic, SS. They are all together. This is the leading group, and they are battling it down the climb at the moment because Ivan Nuki, 7.7 watts per kilo on the descent.
And I'm just wondering whether they are trying to separate out this group and keep clear of anyone behind. What I do want to see, and I don't know if you spotted the name, SS is here, Pablo Popovic is here, and everybody knows Danger, who historically has watched the danger of letting the UAE clan team get together. Mr. X100, is he in this group? I'm sure I've just seen him ticking along in the screen. Yes, he is. So the UAE clan team back together again. Back together in the race, and all three on the descent. Big move on the front, big group going away. They're on the way down. As they descended past our Category 1 riders who were ascending, I did want to go, meow, as they went past. Meow,
okay.
Meow, because they are, I'm also sort of like doing motorbike.
Well, can I just say, we've got a big attack on. Take a look, the big attack coming on to the Category 1 race at the moment. We saw a group, we saw a gap. We're now in the garage with Ollie Jones on the bottom left-hand side of your screen as he's pushing at 8.5 watts per kilo. He's taking Jason Osborne with him. Michael Knudsen and Stefan Van Elst are desperately trying to hang on. These four riders are now 6 seconds clear of the chase, and the chase is Vujasin, Kaminski and Andreasen.
Do you know, I wish I had put some padding on the commentary desk when I built the commentary studio here at Full Speed Events, because my jaw has hit it that hard because of this attack. This is brutal racing. This is aggressive racing. This is about handing it out and setting your stall out early. I'm not sure if anybody's told them that the race continues. It's not just 8.5K, 9K long. It continues. We've got some more stuff to do as well. It is all over the road. It's all over the Hollywood Hills here. California, I am not sure that I have seen a MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club be so explosive. We're less than 10K in, and we've riders everywhere.
We do indeed, but that chase group of three, Vujasin, Andreasen and Kaminski, is not one to be discounted, even at 25 seconds. This is the second chase group on the road. I was going to say 5, but it's 6. So 6 riders here. And Pucker, Turek, Panizza, all part and parcel of that. But it is the rider called Jason Osborne setting the fastest time up the Hollywood climb. Jason Osborne setting the fastest time up the Hollywood climb. 6 minutes, 12 seconds. Ollie Jones right on his heel. They climb 3 minutes, 3 seconds. Oh, God, what am I doing today? You do it.
Okay, Jason Osborne leading the way up the climb. 6 minutes, 12.860 seconds. Emma's just composing himself on the other side of the studio. Ollie Jones coming through in second position. 12 seconds back to the first chase group. 30 seconds plus back to the third chase group. I think Emma's just having a mental breakdown across the studio. The gaps are huge. We're talking first climb of the day. We've got riders everywhere. I mean, Stefan van Elst at the moment, he is chasing 13 seconds to the leading duo, Jones and Osborne. Then it's Van Elst and Knudsen. Then it's the group of Kaminsky and Andreasen and Vyasin. This is...
Well, I think we're going to see some of these groups come back together and form really big chasing packs.
I don't know. The problem is you've got this descent. We go through the Toon City Sprint. We've got maybe a K and a half. Then we go over the riser into Alcatraz. If you get dropped for a reason. You know, nobody's willingly going, do you know what? Have a bit of a head start after this climb. I'm not bothered. I'll just take it easy. Everybody wants to be in that lead group, and they haven't been able to do it. They've not been able to answer it. They've not been able to commit the resources needed. So hard to answer an attack like this. I mean, Jones and Osborne, a breakaway duo that you could only wish for.
Well, I have to say, I'm just taking a little look back.
You could put Michael Vink in there, and that'll make like the best 3 breakaway riders that we've probably got in Category 1.
Well, Osborne and Jones have been very dominant on the top spot. They've been sharing it a lot recently, Osborne and Jones. But Vyasin has been in there. Kaminsky has been in there.
They have. Now, we're going to just take a look in with 2 of our riders, David Young and Jeff Rooney. At the moment, David Young in Category 3 from the United States of America on the left. You got Jeff Rooney from New Zealand on the right-hand side of your screen. Good to see Jeff and David Young both in action here today. Both riding really well at the moment. And at the moment on the Sunday Race Club, we have people from all around the world. I absolutely love the fact we've got people wherever you are in the world. We get to see our riders. Looks like the team here working well in the Category 3. You've got a nice group here. You've got Alexander Lawrence, David Young, Torsten Holtz, and Groen. All together, they're 20k already of this 45-kilometre course covered in Category 3. Jeff Rooney at the moment is at 22.4. And Rooney at the moment, well, he's in that leading group in Category 4. I'll tell you something, maybe everybody just needs to go do an Everesting just to get their form absolutely dialed.
Well, that could be a good question. And the person who would be able to give you that information on the best way to do it would be Jeff Rooney.
It would indeed. I think Emma has just fallen in love with Jeff Rooney's top.
Well, you know, I am always on the lookout for a nice, colourful cycling attire. I love colour.
Okay, so we are going to start a new thread because we talk about pain caves and stuff. I would like to see what is
the most colourful kit that you've got.
It's got to be bike riding kit, so it's no good getting your Hawaiian shirt. That doesn't count. We want to see what you're riding. So we can see Matthias Van Hee here at the moment. Gilet undone in the Belgian national colours here for his squad. We would like to see what is your brightest coloured kit that you possess. And Emma, in fact, you can see Emma's because the brightest colour kit Emma possesses, if you go to the training pages of MyWhoosh,
so true.
You can see the brightest colour kit Emma possesses, which is the Tactic Race Team kit,
It is my Tactic Race kit. Well, I have to say it's closely run by my gritty top. But yes, the Tactic Race Team top is indeed probably the brightest one I see. Pink and yellow. Very dominant.
So if mine was monochromatic, it would be the black and white kit I've had for about the last 15 years and still riding it. Or it might be a tactic kit because I do actually have one of those.
Well, can I just say there's nothing monochromatic about the racing today because Walter, Ospina, Popovic, McCarroll, Bendetti are all in here at the moment. This is a huge group, 25 riders at last count in Category 2. They're at 16 kilometres now into the 45-kilometre race, coming towards the top of the climb between the Toon City Sprint and the Alcatraz Sprint. So it's going to be interesting to see Simon Walter in there, just kicking on in terms of that cadence, lifting his pace a little bit there. Nicely in the group at the moment.
In the group, but not in the lead. One man, I think, if I interpreted my screens correctly, down the road by 16 seconds. Mr. X100 on a long-range attack on the right-hand side. Now, Mr. X100 on this course rides well. So does Pablo Popovic, and so does SS, which is why it's so dangerous putting these three together. Right-hand side of your screen, Mr. X100 on the attack, playing the team tactics here, going off the front. His teammates now get an easy ride on the left-hand side. They do not need to chase. They can justifiably sit in there and go, I don't care whether he gets 20 minutes down the road. I'm not going to chase. It's not going to happen. I might attack you later on when I've had a nice rest in here, but I am not going to go chase my teammate. Mr. X100 on the attack. SS, Popovic, Nuki, Theme, Van He, Betty, Graves, Heaney, all on the left-hand side of your screen. And now we start to see the moves going on the left-hand side. Peter Milostic is the one to respond. 6 watts per kilo. Peter Milostic, a regular chaser. Category 2, one right away, Mr. X100, being chased by Peter Milostic. Then it's going to be the bunch behind. Left-hand side of your screen are 2 leaders. Osborne and Jones, 30 seconds to Knudsen, Kaminsky, Van Elst, Vjasin, Andreasen, and co.
But the 2 groups behind are coming together to form one big bunch, and they're going to be racing for 3rd, 4th, and 5th today. So that has got to light the fire underneath them and make them work. Can they pull back Jones and Osborne? Well, it's a big, big ask.
You'll get splinters you sit on the fence any longer. Right. Front of the race. Here we go. Marcin Gruzinos at the front of the race. JD Abello right on his heels. So is Brett McMurtry, David Winfield, Cirillo Scretting, and Rudy. This bunch do not want to let Gruzinos off the front here. They do not want to let him go. The riders at the moment at 24.8k on Mount Umunum. On the way up the climb. On the way to the summit, they've literally just gone through the start of that climb. This climb tops out at 26k. Time-wise, it's about 3.5 minute climb to get up the Mount Umunum. If you're in Category 4, fastest time 3:30 set by Ola Warren.
I'll tell you something, Vjasin is not with this chase group in Category 1. It's Knudsen, Van Elst, Andreasen, Kaminsky. Vjasin is 12 seconds back. This chase group, however, are 30 seconds down on the leading 2. They're going to need to get their act together to close that gap down. And the question is whether there's a will and a way, or whether they are racing for 3rd. Well, Vjasin at the moment just dropped off the back of that group, pushing on to try and get back on, though.
Do you know, when you said where there's a will, I nearly said there's a grasping relative, but I decided not to. So our riders on the way in. IrreverenceRus.com here today. So the riders on the way down. A line of adjusting one man who doesn't need to write anything but power checks that his body has to cash as he's burying himself. Look at this. Line of adjusting working hard. I don't think I've ever seen line of adjusting leant over the bars as much as he is now.
But I tell you something, he's reeling the group in, and his teammate Mikhail Kaminsky from the Alpha squad on the back of the group, he's giving him a toe in. You know, this is how you bring your teammate back in. You just hang off the back of the group, you let him get into your draft, and then the 2 of you push on and squeeze into the group. Kaminsky now picks up the pace as Vjasin starts to come onto the group. He can't let the group go, and Van Elst, Andreasen and Knudsen are indeed pushing on. Van Elst, the teammate of Osborne, and Knudsen in hard to guard. Well, Kaminsky has done the business. That's the team role he's just played. He's tried to bring Vjasin back on. Well, he's lying at 4 seconds at the moment. He's going to need to dig one more time. I don't think he's going to do it. That's it. No, it's gone.
Here we go. 5.7, 4.5. he needs the group in front to hold off. And the problem
They're not going to.
The moment he gets near, they kick again. And that is the way to really break. And we saw how deep he was committing there. Line of adjusting, bent over the bars here. This is a man you can go train with.
You can. In fact, you can do a live coaching session with Lionel Vujasin on Wednesday. I just double checking the time, but I think it is indeed 7 o'clock. Bear with me 1 second.
So you can jump on. So one of the great things about MyWhoosh, we have the live coaching. So you can basically jump in with one of our riders. Emma hosts some Monday and Thursday.
Lunchtime European time, Thursday evening European time. I am. Thursday is women's only. Monday lunchtime, everybody welcome to join. Lionel Vujasin is on Wednesday this week at 7 o'clock Central European time. You can drop in and you can do a live coach session with Lionel Vujasin, who of course will be on the start line in Abu Dhabi on the 26th of October for the World Championship final.
So you can see Lionel Vujasin in the World Championships. You can see him on your screens in the Sunday Race Room, and you can see him on your training screen talking to you. Yes, you just need to make sure that you download, click and get on board that training session with Lionel Vujasin or any of the fantastic coaches.
There's lots of coaches.
There are lots of coaches there all week. Ed Laverick, new signing, I think, on the training. Jesse Robin was on there. We've got Cy Brady. We've
Lisa
got
Hermansen.
Lisa Hermansen. Someone called Emma Martin. Oh, that's you. And lots of others.
And you need to keep your eye on the MyWhoosh indoor cycling Facebook page. You need to keep your eye on the MyWhoosh Instagram feed, because all the information about what is coming up each week in terms of those live coaching workouts is there for you.
Okay, on to the climb with our Category 3 riders. 25.7k. This climb tops out at 26k, so just under 300 metres now. 200 metres to go as they come round this right-hand bend to the end of the segment. Nick Squillari and Nickel Kansara with a 1 second lead to Carsten Mayer. Got Zari, Karlstrom, East and the chasing pack. 1 second is not a lot, but they are making legs hurt at the moment because they are going to go over the top of the Mount Omanum climb first. This is a tough climb, 3.5 minutes worth of climbing, and the fastest time, I think, set by Niall Betty should be pretty secure at the moment. He went through 3:18. The rider's going through 3:23, the fastest time at the moment. And that time being set by Nick Squillari from Nickel Kansara. Henry East in the chasing group here. The rider currently sitting in 4th position, and a 3:24 for him as well. Good time over the top there by Henry East. He's looking good in this pack, and another rider who seems to be coming back into form and really riding well.
Well, he is indeed, and it is really good to see. Now, that leading group in Category 3, 17 riders at the moment. It's phenomenal, isn't it, in terms of the racing? 43 minutes of racing. There's still 17 riders. Bearing in mind there were 53 on the start sheets, but it just shows you the strength and depth. Spratt, Kochkov, Yeast, Ramirez, Ridley, Elos, Tidholm, all in here. Kirchner is here. Kochkov is here. Spratt. These riders so well matched in the category. The chase group is not that far behind. You can see them on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen on the descent at the moment. The group descending, trying to breathe deeply and get some of that recovery. Heart rate's dropping really quickly, actually. I'm watching East's heart rate drop really fast, just showing how fit he is. While Osborne and Jones still out front in Category 1. They've extended that lead now. On the right-hand side of your screen, it's the lead in Category 2. At 20 seconds, X100 has also extended the lead in that race as well.
And he's being left out there at the moment. The riders behind. The pace is yo-yoing up and down. We're seeing Kix Krasnich going up to 6.5. Howeiler 6.3 there. But then it drops back down to 3.5. They're sitting and riding with a bunch. Mr. X100 is sitting and riding at a pace. This is to his advantage. The more it yo-yos behind. So, 2 breakaway riders in Category 1. Top left-hand side of your screen. Top right-hand side of your screen. Solo breakaway rider, Mr. X100 in Category 2. In Category 3, already. We've got a big bunch of riders on the front that has not yet broken up. And in category 4, we have 3 riders clear. Brett McMurtry, Boo and Mur, along with Lucia, who are the riders clear. 13 seconds their gap from the Jeff Rooney group. All 4 categories with some great racing. All 4 categories in line for prizes as well, because our top 5 riders in the men's and women's races having equal prizes across category. And let's bring you those prizes now. We have got prize money in our standard category, category 4. Today in our qualifier race, it is 2,160 AED for the win through to 423 AED for 5th place. Now, that is for all of the Sundays except for the last Sunday in the month. That is when our finals come in and our team classification kicks in. You can see as we move from category 4 to 3, the prize money goes up as we move up through the categories. The individual classification, 3,600 AED for the win, and then dropping through the top 5 riders in each category getting prize money. Really, really well rewarded for their efforts. Remember, that is based on their verified finish. It's not just the live winners that go over the line. When we move from 3 to 2, we move up to 6,000 AED for the individual win today in category 2. Right the way through to 1,200 for 5th place. Top 5 riders getting those prizes. We've moved up from 4 to 3 to 2. Into category 1, you can see end of the month, the team competition, a whopping 50,000 AED. Today, if you were to take away 5th place, 2,000 AED, 4th place, 4,000 AED, 3rd place, 6,000 AED, 2nd place, 8,000 AED, and the top spot, that's 10,000 AED. Or if you are elsewhere in the world, well, it's time for exchange.
Hey, well, in light of the battle royale going on at the front of the category 1 race, Jason Osborne versus Ollie Jones, Europe versus New Zealand, 10,000 AED. If Ollie Jones from New Zealand is to take the win today, that will be 4,456 New Zealand dollars. If Jason Osborne takes the win, it'll be 2,436 euro.
There we go. Twice as much Emma's Exchange for your money today here on the qualifiers. Don't forget, of course, other exchanges are available. Emma's is the best, obviously. Unfortunately, nobody can use it but Emma. But you can use it as a guideline to give you an indication of just how stupendous, news goes barnstorming, the prizes are. And barnstorming is the rider going in at the moment in category 2. Mr. X100 on the front. Clear. 12 seconds the gap at the moment. 24.7k covered for the chasers. Well and truly into the lower slopes of the climb. Mr. X100 leading. That gap is starting to tick down as the riders start to get activated behind onto the climb. And this is where our race leader has to be careful. If they continue to pull this down, he's got to get the timing right. He will not want them to go past on the way up. He will want them to make the catch at the top or on the descent. Easier said than done by a mile as our riders go underneath our bear, this giant bear looking down on the riders. Emma's going, I didn't realise it was a bear.
I did. I just, for the very first time, I realised it was a bear, not a tree trunk. But it is indeed Cam Winfield and James Krasnich. It is absolutely awesome. Krasnich is doing the closing here. So Cam Winfield, James Krasnich, the 2 riders pushing on here, bringing back in X100. They're leading the charge on the group behind. There were indeed 25 riders in this leading group at last count. I think we're going to have seen 1 or 2 drop off the back. The reeling in X100, Josiel Betty. Did you know he's been so instrumental in the racing today as well?
And he actually holds the fastest time in category 2 up here, 3 minutes 6 seconds. The fastest time. He was about 0.6 of a second clear from Ross Fawcett and Olivier Simmons, Matthias Van He. The Kenyans, Bert Kane coming in side the top 10. Cheho Weiler, Peter Molostich, Simon Walters. There's a real mix of riders who are in this group. Now, catch is made. Mistakes 100 is caught. This is where we expect to see a counterattack, but we are nearly at the top of the climb, 500 meters away.
We are indeed. They're going to swing right, and then they're going to see the polka dot banner signifying the top of Mount Umanum. And then they transition down, and there's a long run across to the Hawk Hills, and then the final climb of the day. That's the Spring Road climb. It's the longest climb of the day, and it's going to decide this race. But this group, if they can stay together and roll in to the base of the climb, it's going to be such an interesting finale. Well, the kick is on the front at the moment, and is that Van Heath theme Winfield? Who is that kicking on? It's Cam Winfield going up and over the top. He's pushing on at the top, not wanting to let anybody rest. Well, we've made the catch 2x100, but are we going to stop? No.
Oh no, we do not want to let anyone in, do we? No, we don't. And that is the tactic going on here. If they push, they could drop someone, and somebody's just got lost contact actually going over the very top of the climb here. They held on, and they've just been dropped. Don't quite know who that is in Category 2. Category 1 on the way in to the climb, but at the moment, Category 2, we are seeing riders. One rider just got distance on the very summit there after having been in the pack, getting the gap open to them, and it's left them in a difficult position. Fortunately, the only good thing about this descent is it's not all downhill. If that's not a contradiction in terms, you have these little rises on the way through, and that does allow the opportunity for riders to try and get back in touch.
Well, I can tell you the group of 25 that went into the base of Mount Umanum, now 20 on the descent the other side.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So 5 riders in trouble. Frederick Gombert in here. And just taking a little bit of a look there, Gombert is at the back of this group. Behind him, it was Mr. X100. After the efforts go clear on the way in, he's the rider who got distanced on the way up, and he's having to chase on the way down. He's trying to get onto the wheels here of Gombert. Frederick Gombert at the moment looking very warm indeed. He's got that fan rolling. The Frenchman at the moment, France, for the first time in about a week, actually has some sunshine.
Well, it does indeed, and nothing wrong with that at the moment.
But unless you're in your pain cave, didn't open the window, got the fan going, and having to put a nice towel around your neck.
Well, if that is the case, well, you know, absolutely pushing on in the race. And I'll tell you something, who else is pushing on here? This is Knudsen, Vujasin, Turek, and Kaminsky. So my mind is that it is all blown up. Andreasen is back as well. The chase group have caught, you know.
No.
Or have they come back?
No. Right up at the very front, beyond this climb banner, onto the climb itself, way up the road, 1.5 minutes up the road,
yes.
Plus nearly 2 minutes
But
are our leaders.
The 2 chasing groups have come together.
Yes, sorry.
So Kaminsky, Vujasin, Knudsen, Panizza, Turek, Andreasen are, look at the size of this group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 riders in the chasing group now. They are chasing Ollie Jones and Jason Osborne, who are clear down the road by over a minute. But this is now a huge chase.
So the leaders are clear, Osborne and Jones at the moment. Jones, the man with the 4th fastest time up this climb. Osborne has the 7th fastest time up this climb. But the people who are quick up here, Kaminsky, Knudsen, Plantero, ahead of Jones. Say Safra Zadie, line of Jassin, just ahead of Jason Osborne. Then Van Els, Martins, Jacobs and Mayer. It is the sort of climb where you can really push on here. Daniel Turek, well, at the moment you can see digging deep in this group here. You can see it's written all over his face, the effort he's putting in.
Well, they are indeed putting in a massive effort, but the gap is going to be too big now at over 2 minutes. But they are climbing the fastest. So the chase group in Category 1 climbing quicker than the 2 lone leaders. Vujasin setting the fastest time, 2 minutes 52. Knudsen in 2nd, Plantero in 3rd, Panizza in 4th, Kaminsky, Pucker, Turek, Andreasen, Linda Millistick and Arnie Jacobs from the Wenger boys rounding out the top 10. This is great racing. Can I just say, For me, Lyndon Millerstick coming up from Category 2 to Category 1 is absolutely showing the level of cyclist he is going to be in the next few years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already really, really good, taking the under-19 regional championships on the mountain bike this week, being part and parcel of the Category 1 race field and progressing to that level as an under-19 rider. He's a talent for the future.
He's a talent now as well. It's a talent for both. Got to just say, I know that we do have a number of youngsters watching. Congratulations to Seb Grindley, a rider who we've watched just been signed up for a pro team.
He has indeed.
So congratulations to Seb. Just got to get that out there because he's one of the real hardworking youngsters. It shows you. And these youngsters, they are the future of the sport. They could have begun racing on a cyclocross bike, a road bike, a mountain bike, a BMX, a unicycle, an indoor cycling bike, or of course they could have started on MyWhoosh, and we do see people now coming in through esports. Don't forget, of course, to keep up with all things esports on the podcast, on Virtual Velo Podcast. Emma is going to be there with the Danish Federation with Chris Schrenker. We are going to be catching up with all things MyWhoosh with Inside the Ride with Matt and Sai as well. Looking forward to seeing them. We go to
they
the
had
World
Mary Kate
Championships.
McCarthy this week on.
Yes. No spoilers, please.
No.
A very, very good rider. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, anybody who's watched the racing in the women's race over the last few months will know just how exciting the racing has been. And of course, if you haven't, well, make sure that what you do is you subscribe to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Hit that button, hit subscribe, jump on board and get notified whenever we go live. Particularly in the run-up to the World Championships. And I know that is only a small minority of our riders on MyWhoosh, but it is the World Championships. MyWhoosh, of course, the UCI partner for 2024, 25 and 26. Some really exciting developments there. If you haven't yet downloaded the new update, please do so. Jump on board. Come and join us, whether that's on one of the racing, on one of the classics, doing the new crit races. A little bit of a revamp of the racing on MyWhoosh. So do jump on board the events page. Have a look at that. And even better, come and join us on Sunday Race Club.
Definitely. Well, all 4 categories of riders and racers out on the course. Now, for those of you new to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, Category 4 start first. They are our first category out of the start pen. They start 5 minutes behind, well, before Category 3, who are behind them on the left-hand side of your screen at the moment. Category 2 then wait another 10 minutes before they go, and then 5 minutes from Category 2 to Category 1. So 20 minutes separating Category 4 from Category 1 out of the start pen. Category 4 are our current leaders on the road at the moment. They are about to get onto the Spring Road climb. 37.4 kilometers is where they are at. They're in the foothills at the moment. That's the polka dot banner. Bu Ama, Panu Alususa, and Brett McMurtry. They are the 3 riders in the lead. They're 40 plus seconds clear of the chasing group.
Amazing racing here today. Out on the course, out and around the world, around the roads of the Californian world. One of the many worlds on MyWhoosh. Do jump on board, get out and race and ride. Congratulations to everybody. I know the this latest round, this latest season of challenges. Lots of people posting on the MyWhoosh indoor cycling pages about their achievements and the challenges. Hopefully it's inspired you to get some extra kilometers in, to get a little bit of extra time on the bike and riding. And I'm sure plenty of these riders inspired by that. At the moment, our lead riders in Category 4 clear over a minute. In Category 2, well, they're still looking to break it up. Krasnich leading from Betty, Milostic, Howeiler, Nuki, Carradine, and Graves with Heaney in the group as well.
Well, James Krasnich pushing on the front here. 4 seconds clear of Betty and Melostic. Heaney, Nuki, all in that chase group. It's been really interesting, this category too, Racefield. We've seen a lot of different attacks on the front. Now, what also is interesting on the left-hand side of your screen is Ollie Jones and Jason Osborne working their way through some of the category 2 Racefield. Now, they did indeed start 5 minutes behind them, but they are now 1 kilometre behind the front of the category 2 Racefield, and you can just see our Case jumping on the back wheel of Jones, desperately trying to hang in.
Well, do you know what? It's a really good move if you can hold on. If you can jump in here, Mohammed Al Case, one of the key riders in the GCC Championships. That's on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Great stage racing. It was very reminiscent of the $1 million prize fund stage, the championship on MyWhoosh, the precursor to a lot of the big events. Here, one of our really big early ones. Fantastic stage race. Really loved that. That was great. I've got to say, if you haven't come and raced, do jump on board. People like Mohammed Al Case that are going to be there up and racing. They're regulars on the platform. They're regulars out and racing. Really, really great to see them in action. The Category 2 riders trying to stay with the Category 1 leaders as long as they can. Take that toe, get in the draft, hide out the way. If the numbers are green, the watts are in green. It means that the riders are in and hiding. Now, here we go. The leaders in Category 2 are up the road. The chasing group trying to chase down. I say leaders, it is James Krasnich basically up the road. He has gone solo. He stayed solo on the way in, but now Pablo Popovic starts to kick. This is our climb, 33.6K. Gives you an indication of the start of the Hawk Hills. The Hawk Hills, a brutal climb. Category 2, well, the fastest time up here set by Mr. X100. That was 2 minutes and 9, exactly the same time. Well, I say exactly the same time. It was 200ths of a second in front of Christoph Thiem. Wow. Betty right up there. Kane Gomber, Graves, Van He, Milostic, Keradine, Darn, Heaney, Walter, all in the top 15. Guess who's in that big group of riders?
Pretty much all of them. Yeah, they are indeed. And guess who's coming up behind them? It's Ollie Jones and Jason Osborne, side by side, taking it in turns on the front. They go into the Hawk Hills banner, signifying the start of the climb. And Jones comes onto the front. So Ollie Jones in the green skin suit, Jason Osborne in the polka dot skin suit. Neither of them are on in yellow, but they are both Category 1 racers. This is the Category 2 race, and you can see what has happened. They've left it till the Hawk Hills climb. There were 20 of them at the bottom. Krasnich went and pushed strongly, but now the group looks like one long line of spaghetti coming to the top of the climb very, very quickly. It's Popovic, Thiem, Graves, Krasnich. They are pushing on. They want to break the group. They want to go over the top on their own. They want a gap. Are they going to have one? Well, I don't think it's going to be big enough, but they are going to have dropped a number of riders from the group. So attrition is what they are going to see on the Hawk Hills.
Well, here we go. This is going to be critical over the top of the Hawk Hills. Pablo Popovic. You ready for this? 1 minute, 54 seconds. It shows you how fast this is up this climb. 1:54. That basically smashed over 15 seconds off the fastest time on the climb.
Well, I can tell you, 7 riders clear at the front of the Category 2 race, but it's just 5 or 6 seconds back to a chase group of 9. So now this is all about, can they maintain that lead whilst getting as much recovery as possible? And Krasnich coming completely off the power and super tucking on the descent, trying to bring his heart rate down as quickly as possible and recover, because they know they are going to have to go again. There's nasty kickers on the run into the Spring Road climb. That is what is facing them. Behind them, and not very far behind them, are the leaders in the Category 1 race, Jones and Osborne.
Now, the fastest time up the Hawk Hills in Category 1 was set by Michael Kaminsky at 1:56.15. Super fast Kaminsky from Jakobs Martins of Justin and Plantero. However, Jones and Osborne today have been setting a ferocious pace up there. They have been clear, so they have to conserve their energy behind them. You can see the distance. The leaders are over the top. The chasers have hit the bottom slopes.
Well, can I just tell you, Jones and Osborne have not set the fastest time up the
Wow.
Hawk Hills climb. Fastest time set by Popovich, Thiem, Graves, Walter, Van Heat and Winfield in the Category 2 race.
Wow.
Now, we did say 20 riders in that Category 2 race came into the bottom, and they utilised it as an opportunity to break the group. And in doing so far, they have gone up that climb faster than the leading two in Category 1.
And Michael Kaminsky, I think, is looking to maybe take advantage of this. It's a big gap in front. He's setting the tempo. He came in hard on the steep sections. Every time it gets steep, he puts the power down behind Bjorn Andreasen, leading Michael Knudsen up there. It's Andreasen and Knudsen chasing Kaminsky at the moment with Jacin, Turek, Plantero, Panizza right in the mix. Been lost it in there. Then the gap is back to Puckett and Jacobs. They'll be wanting to put in a hard, fast time up this climb, even if they're not in contention for the race win, because this climb is so reminiscent of the climbs out on the world's circuit. It's short, it's sharp, it's steep, and it is about putting the power down and using it effectively on the sections of climb that suit you. Andreasen leading up here really is winding the screw. 7.7 watts per kilo as he goes underneath the banner. He's going to want to push this into the descent to take this group clear, to leave behind some of the younger talent like Milostic, because he is further back down the road, and that's a road you wouldn't want to take to a sprint.
Well, I can confirm the chase group have set the fastest time up the Hawk Hills. Defending world champion Bjorn Andreasen from Denmark, 1 minute 49.894. Vujasin, Panizza, Kaminsky, Plantero, Knudsen, Turek, all in that chasing group. Popovich, Thiem and Graves, well, that's the group from Category 2.
So Bjorn Andreasen setting the new fastest time up there as well. 7 seconds or so clear of the previous fastest time. The previous fastest time, an average wattage of just under 500, 496 was the amount. This time round,
Andreasen, 534 watts average up the climb.
And the same, I'm sure it's over 500 for many of those riders up at the front, because they were so quick, that chasing group there.
There they were indeed. In fact, Turek, Kaminsky, Vujasin and Andreasen all over 500 watts. But let me put it this way, the rough pace they were all moving at is 7.5 watts per kilo.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. And more ouch. There we go. Right, in with Category 2 on the right-hand side. Mr. X100 in the group here at the moment. And this group, this has been one of the most fractured and then reformed groups. It's been reconstituted a number of times here.
It has indeed, and it looks like it's been reconstituted again. And really interesting racing in this Category 2 race field. They've split, they've come back. Groups have come back together. They were 25, they were 20, they were 7 with a chase group of 9. And looking at that group, some of it has all come back together again.
It has. Sorry, apologies. I was just taking a breath. Breathing's kind of going to be... It's not just the riders. It's here in the commentary box every now and then. I have to do this breathing thing. Okay, now, in this group here, really interesting to see Category 3 riders just trying to go with the Category 2. Very difficult to do, though. 38.1k is where our riders are at the moment. They're on the base of the Spring Road climb. Now, the Spring Road climb. This is the long climb of the day here. Category 2 on the Spring Road climb. We're looking around about 13 minutes 40, the fastest time, 30:41. The fastest time so far, set by Betty. Again, he was on real good form when we were here last time. Mr. X100, though, going early.
Well, he is indeed, and pushing on at the front of the group. Andrew Downey is the rider who's marking him. James Krasnich is there, as well as Ian McCarroll. These riders all wanting to make sure they are watching the front of the group, watching the front of the Category 3 group. Well, Nick Squilari at the moment, you can see the work and the effort. Take a look at that on the screen. The work and the effort going in from Nick Squilari to push towards the front of this Category 3 race field. Lewis Ridley 3 seconds back with Carsten Mayer and Kochkov in there, as well as has Allport as well, doing a phenomenal job in Category 3. We know he likes this course and he's proving he can step up to Cat 3 too. But Squilari catches the leading group in Category 4 as the chasers in Category 3 come around the corner. McMurtry, they're not up. The group is further down the road. The three riders who are leading this race, there they are on the right-hand side of your screen. Amma, McMurtry, they are further up the road. Ridley catching what is the chase group in Category 4. Now, how is this going to play out? Are we going to see some of these Category 4 riders tap onto the back of the Category 3 pack and get pulled? Or are they just going to come to the back of the group and drop?
It's that response, isn't it? When you are being caught, when you're being passed, when these riders are coming through, that is when it's critical to be able to jump in, to have the pace, to have something left in reserve, which is so difficult when everybody's got the throttle wide open and you're fighting for position in your race. To then have a fast group come past, very, very tough. Now, left-hand side, you can see the carnage that's being caused by groups coming in through the Category 3 leaders on the way in through Godzari, the rider who has just opened up a little bit of a gap back to Kochkov, Karlstrom, Ridley, Mayer and Allport and Co. That little big, I mean, that is a monster. This could be a bunch sprint at the top if that Category 3 group stays together, which is unlikely. Right-hand side of the screen, the very front of the race. Pano Alalucia, the rider who is leading from Finland, with Bu Amur sitting in second position. Then it is going to be Brett McMurtry in third. 4 seconds back from our leader to second place, and then 27 seconds from our leader to third place. Those positions should be set in stone with 2.4k to go. However, big however, get the pacing wrong, you're going to drop back. Get the pacing right, you're going to open up a gap. Now, left-hand side of your screen, Category 1. They are also in to the last 5k or so. Just coming up to that mark, and Jason Osborne has got a gap to Jones. 2 seconds at the moment as the Category 2 race lead is also blown apart.
I mean, Jason Osborne has just lit the afterburners at the moment. He's been motoring with Ollie Jones all ride since they left the group. And, well, he's just turned it around, taken a look at Jones and went, see at the top.
Do you know what it reminds me of the Vermeesh versus Van der Poel breakaway in the gravel championships, because the two riders have been clear together for a while. Then it hit the riser coming in towards the finish, and Van der Poel just basically took a look and went down the side of the road, and it was like he had 2 more gears than Vermeesh. The same things happened here. Osborne's taking a look over his shoulder, gone, right, time to put the watts down.
Well, can I just tell you?
8 watts per kilo. Let's just kick for a few minutes like that.
Well, he's just gone straight past the leading group in Category 2.
Jason Osborne, we are not worthy.
Even looking at them.
We know Jason Osborne is a force to be reckoned with. For those of you who've not been watching for a number of years, Jason Osborne was one of our riders racing when we moved basically from the Friday Race Club to the Sunday Race Club way long time ago. He was one of those riders who moved across. He cut his teeth very much on MyWhoosh and racing.
He's never been off the podium in the e-cycling world championships.
He came into e-cycling from Rhone, an Olympic Rhone medalist. He then became a professional on the road. He's back in esports, and my goodness, is he back. What a way to announce yourself. Now, a little bit further down the road, or up the road, should we say, from the leaders in categories 1, 2, and 3 other leaders on the road. There are category 4 leaders. Panu Alalucia has got a gap. It's now at 10 seconds from Bu Amur. Bu Amur in second place. That gap has opened behind Bu Amur, and in the gap, the first rider, I have no idea whether he has got some California genes in the Allport DNA, but Luke Allport has decided, do you know what? If I'm going to win this, I need to go now. He has put the hammer down. He has got Lewis Ridley responding. Henry East is fighting. Kochikov is fighting. But it is Luke Allport. Moves up from category 4, undefeated. He's taking it to them. He's gone from the title holder to the challenger. And you know what? He's putting the blows down.
Well, Luke Allport took the win in Category 4 in the July final in California. He was then rewarded by being moved up into Category 3, and he is such a fighter of a rider, absolutely taking it to them on his favourite course. He's not scared, he's not frightened of the challenge, he's not worried about who is around him, executing his race his way.
And at the front of the race, the gap's come back down again now. So Buamer has closed out 6 seconds on Pano Alla Lucia. This is going to be an absolutely nail-biting 1,000 metres, which is what we've got left in the qualifier. Race number 2 on the Sunday Race Club. Category 4 have led all the way so far into the last kilometre. They have not been caught by Category 3, 2 or 1. Category 3 are coming, and they are coming at pace, being led by Ridley at the moment. But look at this. Buamer says, you thought it was all over. Oh, no, it's not. This banner means that we are at the top of the climb segment. 500 metres to go on the run in to the, a little bit for the 700 metres, to the end of the race. This is going to be critical. What is going to happen in this closing stages? This is a tough finish because it is not flat. It's rolling. Buamer closing now on Alucia. Alucia with the climber's jersey, the polka dot jersey. It looks like he's going to hold that in Category 4. This is the run in, though, to the line. This is critical.
Well, it is, and Alma comes over the top of Alalusa as he goes straight past. What can the Finnish rider do? He can do absolutely nothing. Buamer stretches the lead. The line is just around the corner. What can Alalusa do? He can't kick. He's got to kick now if he wants to come, but Buamer is going to see that UCI banner. Is he going to make it to the line? I think he is. Buamer caught the leader in the Category 4 race, went over the top in the last 700 metres to take the win today on Qualifier Race 2 Cat 4.
Buamer in 1, Pano Alla Lucia in 2. This is the run for the line. Nicol Cansara heading this up in Category 3. Luke Allport comes on his shoulders. That is going to come down to a photo finish.
He gets
Has
it!
Allport got it? Luke Allport has done it. What is this man made of? Oh my goodness. Allport from Cansara in a last gasp. What separated them there?
0.32 of a second.
What a race finish in Category 3. Just run us through the top of 5 in Category 3, Emma, just in case we don't get a chance later.
Category 3, Luke Allport goes up to Cat 3 and defends his outstanding record in California. Nicol Cansara, Daniel Tidholm, 0.8 of a second back. Henry Yeast takes 4th. And Karlstrom takes 5th place. 1.8 seconds separating the top 8 riders.
And we're back in with Category 1 and 2 leaders. Mr. X100 leading Category 2 rider at the moment is trying to hold on to Ollie Jones as he comes up. He has seen the express train going and he's decided to try and go, but Christoph Thiemann, Krasnich and Graves are now onto his heels here. So Category 2 is well and truly burning. They are 2.3k from the summit. Jason Osborne is at 2 kilometres and counting down because Osborne is absolutely flying up this climb. He reminds me, the pace he has got, great start the cyclocross season. I watched my first cyclocross race of the season from Berringen, full of incident, which I'm not going to go into, but what Jason Osborne reminds me of is the pace that Two Notes was kicking up the climb. It was like he had 2 extra gears. It's like he could just go uphill like it wasn't there. And Jason Osborne is doing the same here. It is absolutely flying. This is an absolutely fantastic race. Let's see how these riders are going to make this count in the last 2K here in Category 2. Mr. X100 on the front. Christoph Thiemann sitting in that polka dot jersey. Then with the grey cap, that's going to be James Krasnich in the mix. This could well come down to a sprint. We will have to see. We've still got plenty of climbing left. Meanwhile, Ollie Jones still chasing Jason Osborne, he is sat in no man's land. He's in second place. His long-time companion has gone up the climb in front of him, and now it's just about defending that lead into the finish in second place ahead of the chasers behind. Category 2, though, should be the next of our riders to finish here today.
Well, should. Anything can happen in California. I tell you that. Dreams are made in California, and we have witnessed that today. What we've also witnessed is Jason Osborne pushing on and leaving Ollie Jones 40 seconds now back. Ollie Jones is, as Jason Osborne comes towards the top of the climb, he's 900 meters now from the finish line with a gap of 40 seconds back to Jones.
So Osborne in 1, Jones in 2. Plenty of time between them. Jason Osborne, though, still continues to push his 6.9 watts per kilos. He's still holding over 6. He's going to go in underneath the banner. That means he has just finished the Spring Road climb. The fastest time was Jones from Osborne previously. 12 minutes 35 to Jones previously to Osborne's 12:39. That was in our July finals. The time, though, has ticked by, and already Osborne has gone in underneath the banner. He's eating up the meters. He's rocketing past the riders. He is a man absolutely on fire. He is the Charles Lindbergh, the pioneer in Barnstormer, who made history in flight. Well, Jason Osborne has got wings on his wheels today.
Well, he has indeed, as he comes towards the UCI banner, signifying the end of MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club qualifier race number 2 in October. He has absolutely decimated the field today. Jason Osborne, your winner today on the Sunday Race Club Category 1.
What a ride by Osborne to go clear, showing his pace and power, and really is emphasising why he's such a force in esports and has been since he came into riding on MyWhoosh, riding on esports. He is a rider who is going to be looking not just for a podium, but for that World Championship win.
I'll tell you something, hot on the heels of Ollie Jones are the Category 2 leading group. And I tell you something, I think that's going to be a 3-up sprint. While Ollie Jones comes round the corner into the UCI banner, he's going to take away second place to Jason Osborne today in that Category 1 race. Great riding. Boy, what an effort.
Now behind Christoph Thiem in Category 2 has put the hammer down here. He's opened a little gap to James Krasnich and Phil Graves at the moment. He's got the polka dot jersey. He's in front of the 2 chasers behind who are starting to power up. It's going to be Christoph Thiem who takes the win in Category 2, though. Phil Graves is going to come in ahead of Krasnich. That's the 1 and 2 and 3. It's going to be a 4th place here for Mr. X100, leading his UAE clan team home. Behind him, McCarroll almost caught him on the line there. Great riding by McCarroll. He's going to round out the top 5.
Well, and this is the race for third in the Category 1 race. Still just over 1 kilometre to go as Kaminski kicks. Knudson's on his wheel. Andresen's just 4 seconds back. These 3 riders have been climbing together. This is going to be for 3rd, 4th and 5th place today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Kaminski has launched his attack. He's 3 seconds clear of Knudsen, who's 4 seconds clear of Andresen. Is this going to hold in the next 900 metres? Going to come round the corner and see the top of the climb signified by the polka dot banner. Then it's a 700-metre run to the line with a downhill kick.
Get the momentum right. Getting the pacing right is going to be absolutely key. Michael Knudsen, 5 seconds down on Kaminski. Kaminski goes over the top, though, and he's into this descent. He's into this little rolling section. You've got to get the pace right here, and you've got to get the momentum right. Really tells you who has got this platform down, who's got the dynamics down, who knows exactly where to kick and when.
Well, Kaminski has kicked now for the line. Knudsen is winding it up behind. So is Andreasen. Knudsen is coming, he's now at 4 seconds. He's bringing that gap down, but Kaminski is clear at the moment. They are in sight now. So Knudsen's got Kaminski in his sight, but Kaminski is about to get that UCI banner in his sight, signifying the end of the race. Can Michael Knudsen bring it back? It's 3 seconds now, but I don't think he's got enough road to do so. Mikhail Kaminski from Poland's going to take third place today in the Sunday Race Club Qualifier 2. Knudsen's going to come through for fourth, and Bjorn Andreasen will take fifth place today on the Sunday Race Club.
Absolutely amazing racing. Great to see the world champion in action. That's Bjorn Andreasen, who comes through to take away fifth place. Michael Knudsen taking fourth. Mikhail Kaminski taking third. Ollie Jones taking second. And an absolutely imperious Jason Osborne taking away a top spot. I tell you something, that man might as well have invented powered flight, because he was absolutely flying today. Dan Shurik, the rider, coming in sixth place ahead of Mikel Plantero, a fine top 7 here today. Seventh place for him. Emma, can you take us through the rest of the top 5s today?
I can do, but you know what? First of all, I'm going to tell you, I think that is a course PB.
Okay, fastest time on course.
Well, so Jason Osborne taking the win in Category 1. Jones, Kaminski, Knudsen, Andreasen, top 5. In Category 2, it was Christoph Thiem taking the win from Phil Graves, James Krasnich, X100, and Ian McCarroll. In Category 3, but Lou Corport, proving that dreams do come true in California, taking the win in Category 3 from Kansara, from Tidholm, Yeast and Karlstrom. And in Category 4, Boo Amma taking the win from Alalucia, Cridland in 3, Bogren in 4, and Skretting in 5.
Amazing racing. All those results currently provisional and live. Don't forget, you can catch up with all of them on the MyWhoosh.com website. Just go into the main menu and on to results, and they will no doubt all be verified. And at that point, that is where we know exactly who has won what. Don't forget, of course, all our riders verified here on MyWhoosh in the Sunday Race Club. We would love you to join them in what we think is the most entertaining, we might be slightly biased, race series on esports here. An absolute pleasure putting words to the action. Emma, where can people catch up with you? You've got a busy week coming up.
Well, you can catch up with me at biking_Emma on Instagram. Follow the Virtual Velo podcast, and you can also catch up with me live coaching on MyWhoosh on Monday lunchtime, European time.
And don't forget, of course, we've got lots of great action coming up. You can catch up with me. It's at Matt Fixer Paint on Instagram. You can catch up with the latest episode of the Crosscast with my co-host Neil Mansfield and Zankris, who's currently over in Sweden racing some cyclocross. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what she's got to say. We, of course, will be back for qualifier race number 3, brought to you by MyWhoosh, the amazing team behind the scenes of making it happen once again. A massive thank you to everybody who makes the racing possible and, of course, the broadcast possible behind the scenes. We get to put words to some amazing race action. I hope to see you on MyWhoosh, but if not, we will see you the same time next week. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you then. From Emma and myself, stay safe. Goodbye.